practices. And so I'm going to turn it over to Suri. Suri's got an interesting background, so I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Oh, okay.
But before he started, let me add a couple of lines. He has been working with me for 10 years. A lot of patience he has.
Yeah.
And he has been in all aspects of the business. He will probably go into that. So he's very qualified to talk about what he's going to do.
Excellent. Excellent.
I come from India, southern part of India, and I did my masters out there. And when I was 24, till I was 24, I stayed in one city. I went to school, went to college, went to work on the same city, and then I joined one of the largest organizations in that area. It's called the TVS Group of Companies. Now, when I was 24, I was officer systems, taking care of all their IT network and everything, starting from fixing the printers to writing apps on the fly, and then working with these dial-up stuff to connect to internet. Now, suddenly I got a phone call from Singapore. They said, "Oh, your qualification profile suits our Citibank. Would you be interested?" I said, "Not really." I keep the phone down, and then the next day, again they called back. And then I found out like one of my friends in Microsoft referred me out there. So that's how I got out of India. And then no stopping back, because this is a different story, because you may have heard about people trying to apply for H1 visas, trying to do that, but this was a different perspective. And of course, like once I went to Singapore, then I was looking out for to come to US and possibly engage in some interesting projects. And as I got here, that's what happened, and now I'm here. And I've been associated with Toastmasters for the past 10 years. I also serve as a co-chair for the District 14 for Toastmasters International. So, and of course, with Boss and with Maha, we always get some innovative projects, and we help people at the base. That's what we do. Every day we have new challenges and we solve problems. In the past 4 or 5 months, something interesting is happening. A lot of county governments in and around Atlanta, they are trying to do asset consolidation and the service desk and improving their infrastructure. And that's one of the reasons for this topic, because when Maha said, there is an opportunity here, go and make a presentation. And then we spoke to Kevin, and then he was telling that you make something for a very high level, and then he said, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." So this is the intent. You may have heard about people talking about ITIL, CMS, CMDB, service catalog. People talk about so many things. Sometimes it's like, hey, what are they talking about? Is it Greek and Latin out there? Right? Now, when we actually get into all these things, sometimes we try to understand what is this ITIL. How many of you have heard the term ITIL before? Okay, very good. In short sentences, it provides like a framework for organizations to improve their service delivery and service support. What is service delivery? Let's take this example. We came here 15 minutes back. Okay? We didn't have a projector. Now, the gentleman, he said, "Yes, I can get you a projector and a screen," and it was on demand. Now, you can be proud that you have the infrastructure and the resources to provide a service on demand. Whether you are aware of or not, your ratings on the first call resolution is up there 90%, and the market average is around 68. Why do I say that? We asked for that around 7:15, and the meeting was supposed to start at 7:30, and it's right here. And Grady Memorial uses 15 minutes, anything that's solved within 15 minutes as their first call resolution rating. and maybe it took 16 minutes, so you're right there at 90%.
Well, actually, what's interesting, it wasn't even a call. I bumped into the guy in the
That's
office. So, and somebody else said, "Do you work here?"
He's
So-
used to lawyers demanding things on a moment's notice.
So it was good. It was
good
good.
break.
I would even give him more credit because he had to go log the call now, right?
Yeah.
So he knows where the asset is.
See, now he may be putting in a
Exactly
ticket
right.
and then say, hey, I solved this problem for the tag meeting and, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But coming back, like I'm trying to align with an example. Now, if you look at this, somebody here may say, why should I spend my half an hour time, which is very precious, maybe $500 worth, why should I look at this? These are the reasons. It's a widely adopted practice across the globe, ITIL, and it started in the UK, and we are, culturally, we've been looking at the British, for a lot of stuff, and I believe British has given a lot of stuff to the world.
Maybe
And
even a little bit of law.
taking, yeah, I know, taking that, and then looking at
And a
that,
little
you
bit
say,
of
but we Americans, we improve it. Whatever we get hold of, we improve it. And I can proudly say that we Americans, we have implemented ITIL in lot more organizations compared to any other country in the world. Taking that, it improves user productivity, reduces IT cost, measures and monitors IT performance. How do you measure the performance of this particular gentleman who fixed this? He was able to resolve the problem within 15 minutes. That's a great thing. Now, that's why we are here. Now, let me throw you a question. Look at this, and then tell me what's common to all this. AAA, service industry, veteran energy, White County Schools, K-12, City of Tallahassee, Grady Health, Lone Star. Anybody here? Open quiz. What's common? They have all implemented ITIL in one way or other. They track their first call resolution percentages. They all provide self-service portal for end users. They all have systems to facilitate remote management. They have multiple locations. They're trying to reach out and help people. They all measure IT performance. Now, we are going to focus on this presentation, like what we can do, 2 or 3 steps that we could take today to make it more beneficial for our organization. When we talk about ITIL, okay, IT infrastructure library, hey, how do I go about ITIL? Maybe you can hire a consultant and pay them $50,000. They can come to your organization, sit with your staff, and then analyze and put together a big document and give it to you, and give you maybe a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan to implement ITIL. If you go to the market, that's what it is. But what I can do myself, given the economy, right? Now you're thinking about, okay, what are the things I can do? Tell me 2 things that I can do, Suri. This is why. If you know in your organization, what are all the assets we have? Where they are, who is using it, and all the hows. How do we get those assets, right? How many problems we had with those assets? How many vendors we work with? How much cost? If you can answer these 4 questions and with respect to your organization assets, yes, we are definitely going somewhere, and you don't need external consultants. But, I'm not actually saying anything about the external consultant. They do a great job. But where do you start? Like as an individual, as your organization, where do we start? This is where. And then you look at the systems and processes involved. This is where you need some help. You're talking about rules, services, like what are the services we offer to the external world? Could be anything. For example, you are an attorney, so what kind of services you offer? And then you put together a service catalog. hey, this is the service I offer, and this is the SLA, and this is the cost, and this is how it is done. Similarly, you can have all kinds of documentation related to that, and you can map the relationships and keep the history. So this is with respect to the CMDB overview. Now, people may ask, what are all the things I should be worrying about? Is it just PC? Like, is CMDB is just PC? No, not really. Could be anything. Phones, projectors, printers, PDAs. Of course, you want to track all the PDAs now. Even employees. See, in technical terms, they say configurable item. Any CI. If you really talk to a ITIL expert, they'll say, oh, how many CIs you want to manage? Now, CI is configurable item. That can be anything. It can be a PC, it can be a projector, it can be maybe your phone. Everything is part of that. And even your employees. They are considered as
some
things.
of them are configurable.
That's right. Some of them
configurable.
And it also considers all the service tickets and requests. See, requests flowing like anything. There are some on-demand requests or last-minute requests. Everything can go under that. And service catalog, you build a service catalog. And again, any of these terms, if you need more inputs or something like that, just shoot me an email. I'll respond free of cost. And anything that matters or needs to be tracked in your environment, anything that matters, you can have it.
So that includes things like conference rooms, etc.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I had one, a different experience. I went to Colony Bank in Fitzgerald. If you have been there in that area, right? They have a beautiful bank out there, beautiful facility, a big conference room like this, and there's a beautiful painting just like this. Now, I walk in and then say, hey, we are going to do asset management. What are the assets you want to track? Now, that CIO says, he showed me there, just like this. I looked at it, oh, painting? You want to track the painting? Yes, he said, yeah, my CEO bought it for $35,000 last week. I want to barcode it, track it, and ensure it's not going out of my conference room.
Exactly right.
Now, this gives a different perspective, right? It's not like any IT related or IP based asset. It could be anything. That's why I put anything that matters to the organization and needs to be tracked. You'll be able to include it as part of your CMDB. Now,
so let me ask one more quick question.
Yes, please.
Sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
So, would this then get tied back into sort of hard asset tracking from a financial perspective as well? So if you're doing fixed asset management on the financial side of the house, how would this kind of thing tie together?
That's a very good question. Recently, we worked with one of the manufacturers, like Ohio Cat, and what they wanted to do, they had all this asset tracking built in. Now, the financial guys, they wanted a report. They said, tell me in all your locations, what is the total cost of running the business for that particular location? It's a simple question. And they also ask, what is the total worth of assets that are owned, in those locations? Because there was a merger, and as part of their M&A activity, they had to really analyze and find out. Now, this IT director called me and said, I need to present the report tomorrow morning. And then, as usual, right, we work late hours the previous day to get that. But the idea is, yes, we can do a tie-in between your asset management, the CMDB, and your financial systems, depending on what you have as a financial system. If you have an SAP or something like that, that will be like hooks already that you can, submit either as a XML or maybe in a detailed way. There will be an application integration on the back end. But we could definitely provide that. Now, let's talk about it. What are you really proud of? You as a leader.
What are you proud of, Mark?
What are you proud of? What do you bring to the Huh?
The Atlanta Braves.
Great. If you think about it, if you ask any leader, they say, oh, okay, hey, I'm a great strategist. I make things happen. right? But
He does too. He does too, basically.
that's right. So when you look at it, the ITIL framework, it's very difficult to understand. You go and find out ITIL v3, and they list like 84 processes and blah 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 blah. So many things. Now, where all starts is like the strategy. Strategy is like what we are going to offer to the market, right? They call it a service strategy, all right? And then run the strategy like you have, if you say how many direct reports you have or something like that, you say, hey, no, I got 3 people, and one takes care of technology, one takes care of business, and one takes care of my internal work, something like that, all right? Now, start around 3 things, right? You have the service design, and you have service transition and service operation. Good round strategy. This is more like your bullseye right there, and then what matters is the design, the transition, and the operation. It keeps on changing. Why it changes? Because your business needs changes. The people you interact with, you change every other day, right? Changes. And believe me, what can improve all these things? Where you monitor and measure and on a daily basis you work on it and it can improve. That's why they put continual improvement. What are we talking about? We are talking about the ITIL v3 framework. This is what they got. They got service strategy, service design, service transition, service operation, and continual service improvement. So this is an easy understanding of the ITIL v3, and then what you do is you drill down in each of this and find out, hey, what is in for me? What are the things that are applicable to my organization? And you can pick and choose and design your own ITIL, your own CMDB that matters for your environment. When somebody comes and says, oh, you need to set up incident management, problem management, knowledge management. No, that's for them, right? For us, what matters? So, next, let's get on to some practical example, because Kevin told me that I should finish this in half an hour. How many minutes I have?
You get about 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
That
excellent.
includes Q&A.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's get on to a practical approach, right? If you are really, serious and you say, hey, Suri came this morning and then he made a presentation about ITIL, let me go and search about ITIL and things like that. If you look at a practical approach, assume you want to track your own assets in your environment, you can track any asset worth more than $1,000, because that's something, that's of value. It can be $2,000, it can be $500, depending on your organization. The service design perspective, providing a self-service portal for customers is one example. What are the things I can do? Right, this. Or building your own service catalog is another example. Service transition. I can take these calls and then maybe route it somewhere for better efficiency, could be that, or low cost. Service operation, you can say escalate PC requests to level 2 after X days. And these are all some examples that you could possibly implement. Continual improvement, how do I do that? I measure. I ask questions to my customers. We can send automated surveys and improve that. Any questions here? Because this is what what went in as concepts, and here is a practical approach.